Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. I'm really excited for today's video, really excited. So I am actually filming this on my birthday, so this is the beer I bought. And I'm like, you know what, it's expensive, but I'm going to do it, treat myself kind of a thing. And yeah, Scott got me into these Medianoches. They're ridiculous. And, it's a color, ridiculous in a good way. And, all of a sudden we started getting a little bit of Weldwerks in New York State. I got the Pappy one that I reviewed a while back, and this one just the other day. So this is the vanilla one. It's from 2024. It's just called Vanilla Medianoche. And it's funny, well, not actually, it won't make you laugh. It's only 11.9% ABV for this huge viscous stout aged in bourbon barrels. Relatively low ABV, but it drinks so much bigger. And he had sent me, it wasn't a Medianoche, Scott did, but it was something from the brewery, from this brewery, and did a mystery beer. And I was way off on the ABV. I said something like 16%, and then it was something like this, And because the viscosity was tricking me into thinking a much higher ABV. And since then, on beers that are barrel-aged stouts, barley wines, things like that, if I do a mystery beer, I'm guessing lower ABV because it got in my head. Just because it tastes big in flavor doesn't mean it has to have the big ABV. So just a little backstory there. Let's see. Vanilla Medianoche began with a blend of Medianoche batches aged 21 to 39 months in a, how do you pronounce this? Myriad of different barrels. Blanton's barrels, Sazerac 18-year rye, Buffalo Trace rye, Henry McKenna 10-year bottled in bond bourbon, Law's Whiskey House rye, Weller 12-year bourbon, Buffalo Trace bourbon, and Buzzard Roost bourbon. A lot of different barrels. You can see why I'm so excited for it. Following the blending process, this Imperial Stout was aged on Madagascar vanilla beans for an additional month to develop deep, rich flavors and aromas. Delight in decadent notes of freshly baked vanilla sponge cake, dry oak, and a hint of milk chocolate, followed by a sweet custard finish. Actually didn't read that before I bought it. So of course I had some tasting notes, whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, and you know what? Billy had sent me, look how thick that is. The Parabla Medianoche, smash up beer, collab beer, whatever you want to call it, which, spoiler alert, has been set aside as the best collab beer of the year so far. And I'm trying to do some normal categories I do for the best beer of the year and some outside the norm. And I was like, I definitely want to do a best collab beer of the year. But let's talk about this beer. Have you seen a darker stout before? Have you seen what's more motor oily than this one? There is actually a little bit of head. The head is so dark it almost kind of blends with the rest of the beer. Maybe the way the lighting is, you can see it easier than I can. It's an incredibly dark brown head, barely any there. The legs do have a brown tint for sure. A little bit of lacing. I screwed it up a little bit the way I tilted the glass back their way. So I'm not surprised how viscous it is. There's stuff sticking to the side of the glass. It looks awesome. Let's get into the aroma. Good amount of vanilla, and it's specifically vanilla. You get the real vanilla bean thing. But I can already smell something I think I'm going to get in the taste where the vanilla is helping round out. Oh, it's inside the glass. It's not something that's dirty. It's just some of the beer sticking inside the glass. Rounding out some of the things I'm smelling. So it's got and it's one of the reasons it tricked me when I did that beer from Weldwerks as a mystery beer. It smells boozy, but it's not boozy. It's all the different spirits, which makes you think it's boozier than it actually is. But I do think you do get a little bit of alcohol in the aroma. Huge chocolate. I like their milk chocolate. Definitely more of a sweet chocolate kind of a thing. Chocolate ice cream almost. That vanilla makes you think marshmallow a little bit. You got the vanilla going on for sure. Definitely the spirits, a little bit of the oak. It's just an awesome smelling beer. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right, let's get into the glass. Cheers. It's so good. You know what's interesting? It's not a roasty beer, but there's this almost roasty, more in a drying way, but it's tied to the wood. It's such an interesting experience. Because yeah, it's not super roasty, but it's got this, not like it's smoked wood, although like the rye spiciness, the charring of the barrels, it might be that, actually it might be the charring of the barrels that in my mind's going to like this roasty, smoky thing. I think it's the char. That makes way more sense. Huge chocolate, huge, fudgy, it's sweet, but like still like dark chocolatey, milk chocolate, chocolate syrup, and like the viscosity really makes you think, or at least makes me think. I gotta stop saying you think. Makes me think like Hershey's chocolate syrup for sure. Great barrel presence, not surprising. Well, different barrels in this beer. Some dark fruit elements, a little bit of cherry, not in an infected tart way at all. And that vanilla is nice, and I was right. You get vanilla in the taste, but it also seems to kind of help bring some balance. And Bruno's like over it already. It does bring, not balance, but like helps maybe round out some edges, makes this a super harmonious experience. This beer is killer. So a little bit of toasted marshmallow. So it follows the aroma pretty good with some more complexity in the taste for me. It's definitely the char that I was talking about before. That sip had such intense cherry, almost into cherry wood because of the barrel aging, the dark fruit. Oh, you know what it is? It's huge. Date syrup. Holy crap. A little bit of caramel, but it's so much more specifically date syrup. I've talked about this before. I'll put date syrup. I used to use dates, which is cheaper, but in like smoothies. But then I started just buying at Trader Joe's some date syrup just because it's easier to blend up in a smoothie. And it kind of scratches that caramel itch if I'm trying to make like a Snickers-inspired smoothie. But I'll put on ice cream sometimes too, just the date syrup. And it scratches the caramel itch, but it's its own thing for sure. This is date syrup, and it's kind of a trip, the fruitiness, because not to harp on that mystery beer that I biffed on, but this is I'm learning. What I'm getting at is not self-deprecation, but self-analysis and critique. This has those fruit elements for sure in a stout that confused me in that mystery beer. That I was like, I think it's a barley wine with a little bit of a stout, characteristic. I was thinking of those clown shoe, or at least one clown shoe beer. Is clown shoe even a brewery anymore? That they would mix barley wine and stout together. It was almost making me think that, but it didn't seem super stouty because of this huge like berry fruitiness. But this is a stout through and through, and it has that intensity. So I'm learning that when I taste that, it doesn't mean it's not a stout. So anyway, I'm thinking out loud right now, but just to kind of connect those two videos, if people saw that last mystery beer. I won't say the name of the beer in case you haven't watched it and you want to watch that, so you're surprised if I gave a little bit of it away. But yeah, this is amazing. Right now I'm kind of thinking, there's another vanilla beer I had, vanilla stout that I had that had even more vanilla. And as Vanilla Police, I feel like I have to keep that one set aside as the best vanilla beer of the year. But that's not a knock at this beer at all. This is definitely a Vanilla Police situation where I would love more vanilla, even though I'm getting it and there's a good amount of it. It doesn't dethrone that one, but I'm not always a fan of comparing things. Just things can be awesome, and then another thing can be awesome, and I can just accept that they're both awesome without having to really try to compare which one's better or whatever. They're both awesome. This beer is amazing. I'm not disappointed at all. I'm not disappointed at all in this beer. Huge taste, huge flavor. Everything's coming through. You do get a little spiciness from the rye, but you get like straight bourbon stuff too. I love this beer. Everything about it. What were their tasting notes again? I mean, I don't remember the last time I had freshly baked vanilla sponge cake, so my mind wouldn't go there. But definitely a nice vanilla thing. Dry oak. Yeah, I mean, the oak, the rye stuff, I said that. I mean, it comes through so much, but in a good way. I think it does bring some dryness to the beer because it's relatively sweet beer, don't get me wrong. And him milk chocolate, to me, it's not a hint of milk chocolate. It's all sorts of chocolate stuff, as I talked about. Followed by a sweet custard finish. I haven't had custard in forever. I get what they're saying. And I have said vanilla or chocolate ice cream, so I get it. I think we're in the realm. Just realized I didn't put this on for finishing that later. You guys had this one before? Have you had anything in the Medianoche series? What are your thoughts on treating yourself on your birthday? How much would you spend on a bottle of beer for a big occasion like a birthday? Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews, both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.